So welcome to my class, and today's class, or rather we are continuing on with part A. Rather, we've come to the end of part A, Statistics for Economics. Unit 3 we are doing, that is statistical tools and their interpretation. And in this we've come to the last chapter today, and that is index numbers. So what are these? They are specialized averages, and they measure change based on two periods of time. One is the base year and the other is the current year. So index number is written as, or symbolically we put it as P01. That is prices of, how do we measure change? We measure change in terms of prices of the current year over the base year. So with that, let me just come to it. So by definition, we will see that index, okay, and before we go on, I've written this change, CHANGE, and someone has rightly said that change is the only constant in life. Change is the only constant in life, and that's what we are going to measure. So by definition, these are specialized averages, and they are barometers of the economic activities, whatever take place in an economy. So they tell us about what have been the change, what has been the change. And as I just pointed out, P0I, that is, we measure changes. Index numbers shows changes in terms of the base year, current year prices with the base year price. That's what. So if you've understood this, you will know what is index numbers. And so based on this, let me just tell you that let me just show you. For example, you can just see. So changes are taking place all the time. And I said, somebody has so rightly said that the only constant in life is change. So economic activities or business activities witness change they're so volatile. The changes are always there. The study of change in business is made easy with the help of these index numbers. And the index numbers measures the net amount of change in a group of related variables. That's what it is. Over two periods of time. One is the base year period, and the other time is the current year in question. So basically, index numbers are just it. So we are just going to define them, or going to talk a little more about it. We're going to talk a little more about index number. That the industrial sector, if you're talking about, or any sector, it can be the primary, secondary, tertiary sector, all these consist of many subsectors, and each of them is changing. The output of some subsectors are rising while it is falling in some subsectors. The changes we see are not uniform. The description of the individual rates of change will be difficult to understand. So it is a single figure that summarizes these changes, and that is known as index number. That's what is index number. They are these specialized averages. So for example, let's just take one like a question, as an industrial worker, say, was earning a salary of 10,000 in the year 2000. Today, he earns around 1,20,000. So can his standard of living be said to have risen 12 times during this period? Can you say that? Can you say, or can we just declare, okay, 12 times? But we've got to see the changes that are all around him. The prices of the rent he has to pay has risen. The prices of say the fee that he has to pay for his children or sending them to higher education has increased, or the prices of the products has changed, or the petrol prices have risen, or he has gone into buying first he had a scooter, now he has or a mobile, now he has a car, and all of that. So such a question that confront in your daily life, this is what can be studied with the help of index numbers. So index number is a statistical device for measuring changes in the magnitude of a group of related variables. We can say it is a measure of the average change in a group of related variables over two different situations or times. The comparison, So an index number also measures changes in the value of the variables such as prices of specified list of commodities, volume of production in different sectors of an industry, production in various agricultural crops, cost of living, etc. So conventionally, index numbers are expressed in terms of percentage. Of the two periods, the period with which the comparison is to be made is known as a base period. And the value in the base period is always taken as the index number is given as 100. So if you want to know how much the price has changed in, say, 2020 from the level of, say, 2000 AD, so then 2000 becomes the base. So the index number of any period is in proportion with it, with the base period and the current period. So if somebody says that the index number is 250, what will it indicate? Well, it indicates that the value is 2.5 times that of the base period. So price index numbers measures and permit comparison of the prices of certain goods. Okay, now for example, quantity index numbers measures the changes in the physical volume of production, construction, or employment. And of course, it is, though price index numbers are more widely used, a production index is also an important indicator of the level of output in the economy. Okay, so based on this, let us just talk about, so is that clear now? So it is a statistical tool with the help of which proportionate or percentage change in any economic variable between two periods related to time or place, etc., is measured. So in brief, we can again say that index number is a special kind of average which measures changes taking place at different times and places. Okay. So whenever there is a problem of measuring proportionate change, or you want to talk about it, so index number is used. It is especially used for measuring changes concerning time series like those in production, consumption, income, expenditure, export, import, etc. And we will do that in later discussions, the importance. But right now, let's just talk about what are the characteristics, after all, of index numbers. So what are these characteristics? So let me just reiterate or just tell you that, what are they? So I've just written them as that. You can get a question, what are the features or the characteristics of index numbers? So they're always expressed in numbers. Index numbers they're a measure of net change. They are also known as specialized averages. And it measures changes in the magnitude, and they're always expressed in percentages. So that is why they're called as specialized averages, percentage averages, or whatever, as you see. So let's quickly take them up one by one, or just talking about expressed in numbers. What does it mean? So for example, if we say that the changes can only be expressed in numbers, for example, increase in price, decrease in production, etc. But these changes can be expressed in the form of numbers with the help of index numbers. So any changes here can be expressed with the help of index numbers. Second, they've written as measure of net change. So it measures the net change in a variable or a group of variables, and they describe net change, that is increase or decrease, as a single number. Okay, for example, if the price index is 250 in 2020 as compared to 2011, so what does it mean? It means that there is a net increase in prices by 2.5 times. Okay, in 2020 as compared to the base period 2011. So it may be carefully noted that even when index number is showing net increase, prices of some commodities might have decreased too. So that is the way we see this. Then we talk about another feature of index number can be that it measures changes in magnitude whose direct, or rather, okay, third is specialized averages. Okay, specialized averages. So what are these? So we can see that they are specialized averages of maybe percentages. So index numbers are expressed in terms of percentage in order to show the extent of relative change, however, without using the sign of percentage. So that is why, according to Blair, B-L-A-I-R, index numbers are a specialized types of averages. So because if you take averages like mean, median and mode, they are used to compare those series which are expressed in the same units. Unlike these simple average, index numbers are used for the purpose of comparison in situations where two or more series are expressed in different units. So the average of all such units are measured in different units which is obtained by using index number. That is why they are called specialized type of averages. And then we also talked about that they are, once again, let me just repeat myself, that index numbers are expressed in percentages. In the same point, I can put it, the one that's given as fifth point, that the changes in magnitude of a group are expressed in terms of percentages which are independent of the units of measurement. So they are specialized averages taking in all the different units, but percentages are independent of the units of measurement. So this helps the comparison of two or more index numbers in different situations. Now, however, it's very interesting that the percentage sign is never used. Index numbers are expressed in percentage so that the change over a period of time can be compared. Then let's just take the fourth point as it's written over there, that measures change in magnitude whose direct measurement is not possible. Many a times it is observed that data is so complex and composite in character that it is not amenable to direct measurement. For example, now take cases like changes in business activity, cost of living. Direct measurement of change is not possible. And we can only study relative changes by studying the variations in some other factors which affect it. So index numbers sort of it becomes a basis for comparison, or it facilitates a comparative study over different magnitudes, different time periods. Alright, so what are the characteristics once again? That they are expressed in numbers, they measure the measure of net change, the specialized average expressed in percentage, and measures change in magnitude. So all that is index number. And what is index number? P01. They are measured in terms of prices of the current year over the base year, which will showcase the change, and the change is the only constant in life. So I want you to write it down in your notebooks and open your books and please write define index numbers. And second question, what are the features or characteristics of index numbers? Is that clear?